really is a story that is all about leaving childhood behind and entering the adult world for the first time. And, that can be a bit of a scary thing. And so through the character of Jem Hawkins, she experiences the world afresh. She takes herself into situations which she's never experienced before. And some of these experiences she finds very scary. And then she learns to find her own natural voice, her own courage. So here into her life, she has this wayward uncle, Uncle David, who's a bit of a maverick. He's a bit of a traveller. He's cool. He's a musician, and he travels all the way around the world. And to Jem, he's a bit of an inspirational figure. And they have this fantastic bond and this relationship that goes beyond parenting and beyond any kind of other relationship she has in her life. So he's able to have that relationship with her in which he encourages her to feel courageous. And he guides her into some very tricky and sometimes scary places, but he's always there in the background to hold her hand if she needs him. But she finds that courage within herself. So he never tells her what to do. He's just there if she needs him. But ultimately, Jem is the one that sees herself through this adventure. Life is going to be full of things that come to challenges. It's not all going to be a bed of roses. It's not all going to be things that we enjoy all the time. Sometimes in life, things are going to hit us which we feel are challenging and difficult. And what I think the story helps us appreciate is that you can get through those difficult moments in your life. You can find the courage. And when you come out of the other side of it, you are transformed as a human being. You've grown, you've become more confident, and you've become more of yourself, finding a different side of yourself that you never thought was there. Family is a big theme that runs through the story in Debbie Oates' adaptation of A Christmas Treasure Island. And the character of Jem feels that at the beginning of the story, her home is not a place that she enjoys anymore, that she feels that her parents don't want her anymore. And what she discovers throughout the play is that the things that she thought would make her happy beyond her own home, actually they were there all the time, and that if she knew where to look for them, she would have found them. And in a sense, the whole Treasure Island there's a scene in Treasure Island where they go hunting for treasure, hunting for the gold, and on the map it says X marks the spot. And I think in some ways that through this production and this adaptation, X is home. When you walk into this theatre, you're going to feel such a sense of excitement. The set is going to be all around you. There's going to be sound in the air. There's going to be really magical lighting. And that's even before the story has even begun. And what you're going to see is you're going to see our entire theatre with this beautiful design that is based on old-fashioned books and maps, and this amazing structure in the middle of the set that is designed to make you think about sailing. It's designed to make you feel when it transports you to icebergs and to the frozen landscape that these characters are going to inhabit. And it's going to invite you to use your imagination, because at the end of the day, that's what we want you to do. We want you to be fully engrossed in the story, come along with us on the adventure, because adventures in life are really exciting. And it's not something that we all always do, is allow ourselves time to allow our imaginations to grow and to go on an adventure with each other. So here at Hull Truck Theatre, we want to invite you to be as excited as we are about telling this fantastic tale in our unique and beautiful theatre, which everyone can feel involved with. There are many, many adaptations of Treasure Island, and each writer and each director and each theatre maker will approach it very, very differently. In Debbie's case, she's chosen to focus on the growth of this young woman as she moves from being a child into being a teenager, into experiencing the adult world for the first time. So her focus has all been about through the eyes of Jem Hawkins, which is interesting in itself because in the book it's Jem Hawkins. So she's made a conscious and deliberate decision to make that character a young girl. And I think it's really interesting because stories have been adapted throughout the ages to have relevance and meaning to the place or the society or the times in which people live. And it's important in our times to look at stories and look at meaning for everyone, its relevance for everyone, so that it's not just something that boys can enjoy or girls can enjoy. There's something about the human being in that really affects us all. So you want your audiences to really connect with it as a story, and that means that you can approach it imaginatively and differently, because each generation would tell stories as they pass them on from generation to generation. But the important thing, it has relevance and meaning to people today. We're a producing theatre right in the heart of Hull, and as such we want this place to have relevance and meaning to the people that live here. And so we're very much inspired by the people, the place, the stories that were in our midst. And as an artistic organisation, we want to respond to that. And so it's very important that our stories connect with the people with whom we work. And so the idea for placing this story, and it starts off in Withernsea and then moves to Hull, and the idea it goes to the frozen north because this city has a great relationship and a historical relationship to the sea. And that relationship has often been about the fishermen going off into the northern seas, up into the Barents Sea. And so the idea of moving it away from the Caribbean or moving it away from Bristol, we thought in our imagination, well, if these people existed in Hull, where would they sail to? It's more likely they would have sailed north. By translating it to the frozen north, we've been given an opportunity for the character of Jem to experience a landscape that I think is probably a little bit more challenging to her than a Caribbean island. So, for example, she will encounter big, rough and stormy seas. She'll encounter really bad weather. She'll encounter ice and snow and be frozen to her core, really. And what this character really craves is warmth, but she's in a landscape which is really very, very scary to her. But at the same time, it's enabled us to think, as well as the scary bits, the fun bits of that, because we associate winter storytelling with ice and with snow. It's very much part of the landscape of how we associate with Christmas. And it's enabled us to think, okay, what are the fun bits of that too? So the fun bits of that is that instead of, say, a crocodile, we've been able to think about, well, wouldn't it be fun to have a yeti in there for her to encounter this enormous creature? So, yes, it's about putting that character in a position where she has to face some real challenges, but also putting in a situation where we can have a bit of fun. So the young people that are involved in our show are young people from Hull, and they get the opportunity to come and work with me and the actors and build and be in the production. So they're involved in all the rehearsals, they get to know the actors really, really well, and they're a really integral part of how they tell the story. So our young company this year, they're all part of the pirate world, so they get to be pirates. So they get to work alongside the actors in how I create the ship, in how I create fights, in how I create a sense of the docks. There'll also be like working bits of scenery as well. So it's a really brilliant, fun experience. And what we find is that the young people that work with us get a lot of confidence from doing this as well. So some of them want to be actors, some of them don't, but merely by participating and getting involved and just having a lot of fun pretending to be someone else, actually that's them gaining their own courage. And starting from being a bit nervous to begin with, they grow massively throughout the performance. And so by the end of the run, there's not a lot of difference between what they're doing and what the actors are doing. And that's what the audience sees, is one great, big, brilliant company of which young people are a part of. At Hull Truck Theatre, there is lots of opportunities for young people to become involved in our work. So either that as participants, as if you want to try your hand at acting, we've got a very big and active youth theatre, there are workshops, there are shows. So this building and this company is as much yours and for you as anybody else. So have a look what's on. We also work with schools, but you're very welcome, and do come and have a look what's going on, and maybe one day you can become part of this as well.